That's right. Okay, finally we are all set up. Okay, we are organized. Guys, we're gonna have here our second class, the second class of the week number 5, which is of course the week number 5.2, the class number 5.2, and I want to start this class with this question. The last time we talked about like our sleeping routine, and then we describe with the time adverbs, we describe what we do after waking up, what we do before going to sleep, what we do while trying to fall asleep, what we do until we are finally awake, and so on, right? In this case, I want to start with this question, like to introduce the other part. What aspects do normally affect your sleeping routine? No? For example, the food that you ingest affects your sleeping routine. Or, for example, drinking coffee maybe affects your sleeping routine. Or having problems, even. Yeah, some people, when they have problems, cannot sleep. Other people can, So, in your specific cases, guys, what does normally affect your sleeping routine?
Teacher, watching TikToks affect my bedtime routine.
Once again, please, Chris. Sorry, again.
Watching TikToks affect my sleeping routine
Okay. So, but in a positive way or in a negative way?
in a negative way because I cannot to sleep.
It's common. It's common that the screens in our face and the UV light affects our sleeping routine. Some people it's from the cell phone, other people from the computer, other people from the TV. So it's pretty common that it affects our sleeping routine. Muy bien, Chris. What about Danny? What about Brian?
Teacher, when I play with my friends because I go to the bed later.
When you play with your friends, video games or face to
Yes,
face?
teacher, video games.
Video games, of course. What video games do you play, Brian? Like kind of relaxing or kind of energizing?
Mm, maybe energy,
Like which one? What is the video game that you normally play with your friends?
FIFA or Warzone.
Oh, first, yes, it's stressing, no? Because if you are not winning, you can feel stressed, no? So that's course, of course. Thank you, Brian. And Danny, what about you, my dear?
And maybe checking my social media affect my sleeping routine.
Do you feel stressed when you check your social media?
No.
But
Mm,
you feel excited, like, oh my God, this happened or something like that.
maybe.
Okay, very good. Okay, guys. So in that case, of course, that there are many aspects that affect our sleeping routine, no? Like the stress, like the emotions, like the food, even sometimes, no? For example, sorry, someone who someone who has dinner very late, yes, may have sleeping problems, no? Or may have nightmares. For what is the meaning of nightmares? Do you remember?
Pesadillas.
Pesadillas, Chris. Muy bien, very good, excellent, Mike. So in that case, someone who has dinner very late may have sleeping routines, right? Or for example, I could say that someone who is really sensitive can be affected by others' problems. I mean, not even by his own problems, by other problems, no? For example, my mom, when my brothers or when I have problems, she cannot sleep. And they are not even their problems, no? It's not like the problems of my mother, but she's so sensitive with us that when we have problems, she cannot sleep either, no? So in that case, someone who is really sensitive, like my mother, can be affected by others' problems, no? So in that case, I can express ideas like that, no? So depending the thing, no? Depending the aspect that affects your sleeping routine. Hmm? But if you remember, the last time we talked about not only about sleeping, but also about reducing sentence. Yeah, do you remember that? In the last time we talked about like, okay, yes, with adverbs like after, before, and while, we can reduce the sentence by changing the verb with ing, yes, and omitting the subject when the subject is the same, right? In this case, we can do something kind of similar, right? But it's going to depend, yes, it's going to depend on the verb, yes, in, on the verb that we use on the sentence. For example, in this case, it's verb to have, in this case, it's verb to be, right? So how can I reduce this sentence? Well, in this case, which is have dinner, yes, I can say, for example, someone, I omit the relative pronoun and change the verb. Someone having dinner very late may have nightmares. Or in this case, which is verb to be, as I told you the last time, I can omit the relative pronoun and omit the verb. Yes. And then I could say someone really sensitive can be affected by others' problems. So in this case, it's a bigger reduction of the sentence, right? Because the last time it was a minimal reduction. It was just eliminating the subject and changing the verb. That was it. But now we have a bigger reduction of the sentence, but depends on the verb. Ready? So we're going to see, guys, how can we reduce different kinds of sentences. Ready? So number one, it's when we have the verb to be. Okay? For example, in this case, I would say people who is categorized as creative should be able to find solutions for everything. As it's verb to be, what I am going to do is to eliminate the verb to be and the relative pronoun. So instead of saying people who is categorized, no, I just say people categorized as creative should be da da da. Normally, after the verb to be, we can find two different kinds of words. Normally, it's an adjective or, oh, no, sorry, it's an adjective, like for example, someone really sensitive, it's a characteristic, or sometimes it's a verb in past participle. Yes. For example, someone who is categorized, or people who is categorized. Or for example, people who is treated, a past participle. People who is classified, it's past participle, right? So in that case, normally after the verb to be, we can find these two kinds of words, or an adjective or a verb in past participle. And I can use it directly after the subject. So instead of saying people who are categorized, not just say people categorized. Yes. Also, even here I have an adjective, so I could say it's even shorter. People or creative people, comma, should be able to all the rest. Ready? So when the sentence has the verb to be after the relative pronoun, it's possible to reduce it a lot, right? In this case, of course, the subject is the same for both sentences. So in the previous one, we had one subject. Here, the same. I am going to use, for example, the subject people, or let's say they, for the sentence number one, categorize as blah, 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 and for the sentence number two, should be able to find solutions for everything, right? That's the important thing. Put just one, with just one subject, okay? Well, that happens when it's the verb to be. What happens when it's the verb to have? Ready? Guys, have as tener. Have dinner doesn't count because have dinner, it means cenar. So in that case, doesn't count as tener. When we have the verb have in the meaning of tener, yes, what I am going to do is to replace that have and the relative pronoun for the connector or for the preposition with. Yeah, it's what we have here. So instead of saying kids who have innate talents must be encouraged. Instead of saying all of that, I just say kids with innate talents must be encouraged, right? changing the relative pronoun and the verb have for only the preposition with, and that's it, right? It's super simple. Yes, in that case, it's just really simple, and it makes it shorter, makes the sentence shorter. Okay. And finally, when I have other different verb, different that it's not verb to be and that it's not have other different verb, I just have to put the verb in ing. Of course, eliminating the relative pronoun who, when, which, whatever, and putting the verb into the ing, right? So, for example, here it's people who work on routinary jobs need an escape from them. So instead of using people who work, I'm going to omit that part and put the verb in ing. People working on routinary jobs need an escape from them, right? So depending on the verb that you have on the sentence, you can reduce it, right? Using one of the three techniques, right? That's why, for example, when we say, bueno, in this case, these sentences are related to creativity because the other topic that we see in this week is creativity exactly, right? Why? This is related, no? So the sleeping habits, the creativity, the mind in general, no? So in that case, for example, we could say that someone, or let's say a boy, right? Or a girl, or a person who has bad sleeping habits, wait, sorry, sleeping habits, and then we have another sentence with the same subject, with the same person, no? For example, a person who has bad sleeping habits, um, like can concentrate. That's one of the consequence of can concentrate. Yes, that's one of the consequences of having bad sleeping habits, right? So guys, in this case, I have the verb to have, right? A person who has bad sleeping habits can concentrate. If you would like to reduce that sentence, how would you do it? How would you reduce that sentence?
A person with bad sleeping habits can concentrate.
Excellent, Chris. Very good. So as it is with verb to have, right? The only thing that I have to do is just taking the relative pronoun, by eliminating and putting that verb into the preposition with. So a person with sleeping habit, with bad sleeping habits, can concentrate. Hmm? Another one. Help me with this one, please. It says, let's say, a woman who sleeps less than 7 hours, comma, gains weight easier. I don't know that. I think that is from a movie, but anyway, right? So a woman who sleeps less than 7 hours gains weight easier. If I want to reduce that sentence, how would you do it? Taking into account that's with the verb sleep. What do you think, Mr. Brian? How would you reduce that sentence, my friend?
A woman who is sleeping less than 7 hours gains weight easier.
Okay, sleeping, yes, but you also have to eliminate the relative pronoun. So a woman sleeping less than 7 hours gains weight easier, ready? So you have to omit the relative pronoun and the verb, put it into the into the ing. So a woman sleeping less than 7 hours gains weight easier. ¿Listo? Guys, what do you think? Is it easy? Yeah, it's relaxed, right? It's like easy. Just take into account the verb and that way reduce the sentence. How do you feel? Questions, problems so far?
No, teacher, is easy.
It's easy. Great. Very good. Danny, how do you feel?
It's clear, teacher.
There, thank you so much. Good. Excellent, guys. So in that case, remember that this is only optional. It's not mandatory. If you want to use the complete sentence, perfect. More formal, right? But if you want to make it shorter, great. Right? Okay. Now, Here we are using relative pronouns like who, right? Because we are talking about people, right? But also we can use other different kinds of relative pronouns and we can reduce it. Yes. For example, in that case, when we have like, let's say a place which is, I don't know, which is spacious, yes, comma, yeah, can be beneficial for your health, for example, like that, right? So in that case, it's the same, right? So what I have to do is just follow the same part. Just eliminate the relative pronoun and, in this case, the verb, yeah? If it's with the verb to have, put it with, or if it's with another verb, put it with ing, right? In that case, for example, a place species can be beneficial for you, right? It works exactly the same. But also, yeah, we're going to have the relative pronoun which, and which is going to be considered as a sentence modifier. What the hell is a sentence modifier? Well, a sentence modifier, it's kind of a connector that presents a second sentence related to the first, kind of changes the first sentence, can change the meaning, right? So in this case, which you know it's cual, yes, can introduce explanation, can introduce consequence, can introduce relation between two different ideas, right? It means cual, but also it can transform into por lo cual resulta, what other thing you could use like that? Para lo cual, so different kinds of connectors using which that they are going to affect the two different ideas. In this case, it's not for reducing the sentence per se. It can be reduced, but it's not for that reason. But it's just for connecting and introducing like a second sentence, explaining or like describing something of the first idea, right? It's really simple because in that case, well, what we're going to do is to introduce which and a verb. Hmm? Verbs like, for example, which means, which results, which suggest, which is why, ready? Expressions of explanation. For example, when I say which means, it means lo cual significa. Yes? So what I'm going to do, well, I say a sentence, for example, sleeping good, sleeping good is not an easy job, right? Sleeping good is not an easy job. That's my first idea. Now, in the second part, if I want to introduce more sentences, I can connect it with which. Depending on my idea, I am going to use one of these options, which motivates, which causes, which results. Take into account that it's which plus a verb. Yeah, it's which plus a verb. Yes. Normally, the verb is in third person. Why? Because it's a situation. So that's why which means, which motivates, which results, third person, right? Also, I can use it in present continuous, for example, which is motivating, which is causing. That's another possibility, but also in third person, right? Then, depends on that, I am going to have one of the possible options, which means it means por lo cual. For example, sleeping good is not an easy job, which means you have to make a big effort. Yeah. So it's going to introduce a second sentence which complements the first idea, right? Sleeping good is not an easy job, which results, lo que resulta en, right? Which results in sleeping deprivation. For example, deprivation it means like privación del sueño, right? So sleeping good is not an easy job, which results in sleeping deprivation. Or sleeping good is not an easy job, which suggests that it's an important function of the body, for example. Yes, lo que sugiere que right? Which is why, what is the meaning of which is why? ¿A qué le suena which is why? Esas se las dejo a ustedes. Which is why. What do you think? Which is why?
¿Es por eso que?
Exactly, yes. O por eso es que, o por lo cual, en general es por lo cual, which is why, por lo cual, o es por eso que, yes. Entonces, muy bien, very good. It's going to introduce cause and consequence, right? Sleeping good is not an easy job, which is why it's really important to do it so, yes, or to sleep good, right? Sleeping good is not an easy job, which is why creative people sleep more hours than blah, 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 right? So the first ID, all of them, all of the options are verbs, but these ones are going to introduce another subject and another just like complete ID. Yes? Lo que causa, lo que significa, lo que sugiere, por lo cual, that's it, right? But the second options, which verbs like motivate, cause, encourage, produce, right? Normally are going to have an object. It means the person that is going to ready to receive that action. For example, sleeping good is not an easy job, which causes me, yes, I am the person who receives the action. Con estos tres verbos es muy normal que se incluya un objeto, es decir, una persona que recibe esa acción, right? So sleeping good is not an easy job, which causes me a lot of stress, which encourages me to improve my sleeping routine, for example. What is the meaning of encourage? Encourage. Uy, ese sí no me la sé. Encourage. What is the meaning of that?
Animal.
Animar o motivar. Es un sinónimo de motivates. Ready? Entonces, muy bien. This is another different modifier of, well, a different kind of connector of, with using the relative pronouns, especially which. Ready? Guys, any question with this expression, which, and then the other, which causes, which encourages, which motivates, which means, which results, which blah, blah, blah? Oh, it's clear.
It's clear, teacher.
Very good, okay. So, I would like you to think on an idea, right? Something related to your sleeping, yeah? And connected or complemented with another second sentence, of course, related to the first. As an example, I said, for example, that if I have problems, I have problems waking up, wait, sorry, waking up early. I can put a comma or sometimes not necessary because I have the connector in the middle. So I have problems waking up early, which is why, which is why I love working at night. I don't have problems working, but I have problems waking up early. So that's why, or which is why, I love working at night. Yes. And which is why also I am considered as a night owl. Hmm? Now, guys, it's your turn. Create two different ideas and connect it using which. Go ahead. Okay, you got it? So I want to listen to you guys.
I have problems waking up early, which means that I don't perform my 100%.
In the morning, no? That I don't perform my 100% in the morning. Okay, good. Thank you, Brian. But it was with a different idea, but no problem. You use the same idea? Okay, no worries. All the same. Good. Okay, very good, Brian. Now, what about you guys, Danny, Chris?
Not brushing your teeth is a bad habit, which results in bad breath.
Okay, which results in bad breath. And what is the meaning of cavities? Do you know what is the meaning of cavities?
No sé, caries?
Caries is very good, excellent. Yes. So, which results in bad breath and cavities? Good, excellent, Chris. Danny, what about you?
I have problems waking up early, which results I go to bed very late.
Okay, very good. So I have problems waking up early, which results in going to bed late. Normally, when we have which results, I am going to have in and then a verb in ing because it has preposition. Remember that after preposition, normally the verb is in ing. So, which results in going to bed late. I understand. I mean, we reduce the sentence, no? So we use the verb in ing and not the subject. It's over clear, yeah, that it's yourself. When I say I have problems waking up early, which results in going to bed late yourself, of course, no? If I don't mention the second subject, it's because it's yourself. So that's great. Muy bien, guys. Excellent. So that's why here we're going to have this another connector, yes, in order to introduce other different kind of connections, right? So far we have seen which, not as a reducer of sentences, but as a connector. And also we have seen the how to reduce sentences with other different verbs. And of course, that we saw the last class, how to reduce sentences or how to connect sentences with the time adverbs, no? While, after, before, until, as soon as, once, the moment, ever since, until, whenever, a lot of different connectors, right? Now, this week, we're going to have a job in vocabulary, guys. Ready? The job in vocabulary, it's that you have to differentiate between a noun and an adjective. Ready? That's important because, as I said, for example, when you have the verb to be, normally you have an adjective. While when we have the verb to have, yes, normally we have a noun. Yeah. What is the meaning of noun? Sustantivo. Yeah. It means el nombre de las cosas, simplemente the name of the things. That's why it's noun, right? Sustantivo. An adjective, it's characteristic. Hmm? So, for example, I could say, yeah, like a person, a person who has a lot of curiosity. A lot of curiosity. I use who has a lot of curiosity because I am using the noun. Normally, the noun is related with the verb to have. It's something that we normally have, right? Or if I want to use the adjective, then it would be the same idea, but a person, a person who is really curious, yeah, is really curious because I'm using the adjective, normally related to the verb to be, right? So it's important, guys, that you kind of understand how do they work, right? So this is the characteristic and this is the thing, the concept that we have in our mind, right? Of course, if I want to reduce the sentence number one, I would have to say a person. How would you reduce this sentence?
A person without reason.
Exactly, Chris, exactly. Very good. A person with a lot of curiosity, right? Changing the verb to have. But what about the second one? How would you reduce this one? Oh my God. How would you reduce it if it's with verb to be? Tell me, tell me.
A person really curious.
Very good, Danny. A person omit the verb, the relative pronoun, and the verb to be, right? So a person really curious, ta 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 ta. So, guys, so let's see. If a person has a lot of decisiveness, it's because it's a person very
Curious.
mm, but if a person has a lot of decisiveness, it's because it's a person very decisive. Yes? Decisiveness, decisive. The noun and the adjective. If a person is very determined, it's because the person has a lot of
Determination.
determination. Very good, excellent, right? Determination. If a person is really disciplined with D, it's because it's a person, it's a person that has a lot of
Discipline.
discipline. Very good, Danny. Discipline, right? So, all the nouns, curiosidad, decisión, determinación, disciplina, adjective, curioso, decisivo, determinado, disciplinado, right? Muy bien. If a person has a lot of innovation, it's because it's a person really,
Innovative.
muy bien, very good, innovative. That one is not that easy. Innovative, right? Innovador, right? This one is a little bit difficult. If a person has a lot of knowledge, conocimiento, right? It's because it's a person, este adjetivo creo que no lo tenemos en español, al menos no, I don't think so. Knowledgeable, like experto, conocedor, right? Yes, but it's an adjective. If a person is really motivated, it's because it's a person who has a lot of
Motivation.
motivation, of course. Very good, right? Muy bien. If a person is really original, it's because it's a person who has a lot of
Origin.
no, origin, no, that's not. Origin is como origen, right? There is another one.
Originally.
Originality. Originality. Originalidad. So, originality. Muy bien, good. Guys, this time, yes, like person who has a lot of innovación, conocimiento, motivación, originalidad. Or a person who is really innovador, conocedor, motivado, original, right? Now it's your turn. Tell me, a person, it's a person, The same as I said here. A person who is really innovative, it's a person who has a lot of innovation. Now tell me all the sentence. Go ahead. You can do it.
Passion.
It's passion. Passion, it's the pronunciation, but let's make all the pronunciation. So a person who is really passionate is a person who has, of course, or with, ¿cierto? A lot of passion. Muy bien. Now let's do it with patience. Patience. No? Any ideas? No?
Teacher, a person who has a lot of patient, patient is a person who is really patient.
Passionate here with this one?
No, no, no.
With the next one.
Patient.
Patient. Patient. Patient. Muy bien. Good, exactly. So a person who has a lot of patience, termina con S, really, patience, is a person who is really patient. Teacher, y si lo quiero reducir, perfecto. A person with a lot of patience is a person really patient. Omitiendo todo la parte del relative pronoun. Muy bien. What about this one? Perceptive.
A person who is really perceptive is a person with a lot of perceptiveness.
Okay, very good. Perceptiveness. Okay, good, excellent, good. Could be also perception, but perceptiveness is also fine. Very good. Ready? Muy bien. And the last one that it's a little bit difficult, it's, bueno, resourceful, it's like recursivo. So this one is going to be recursividad. And it's resourcefulness. It's a very long word, right? Resourcefulness. Chris, ayúdame con esta. A person, blah, blah, blah. It's a person, blah, blah, blah.
Person who is resourceful is a person with a lot of resourcefulness.
Very good, excellent. Bueno, Christian just mixed it, no? One reduced, one complete. Perfect, excellent. So a person who is resourceful is a person with a lot of resourcefulness, right? Excelente. So, pasión, paciencia, perceptividad, recursividad, ¿cierto? Like a person who has, right? Or a person with. And a person who is apasionado, paciente, perceptivo, recursivo, right? O a person y ya el adjetivo, ¿cierto? Una persona apasionada, una persona paciente, ta, ta, ta. ¿Ready? Entonces, guys, es muy importante que ustedes recuerden que siempre que las palabras tienen, pues, dos formas o más de una forma. A veces es un verbo, pero también se puede convertir en adjetivo. A veces es un sustantivo que también tiene su adjetivo. A veces tengo verbo, adjetivo y sustantivo de la misma palabra, ¿no? Entonces hay que tener mucho cuidado qué forma es la que estoy usando y pues de esa misma manera obviamente poder reducir en este caso o no, si se quiere, right? La oración, ¿vale? Hasta ahí, guys. How do you feel? Questions? ¿Cómo vamos hasta ahí? Problems, difficulties, anything? Or it's fine.
It's clear, teacher.
It's fine, see.
Very good. Very, very good. Oh my God. Wait, I didn't find the activity. It's right here. Okay, right? Guys, I'm going to have two different activities. The first one, we have six different possibilities. You don't have to do all of them. No. What I want you to do is to complete it here with a reduced sentence. Ready? For example, I am going to do the first one. It says someone blank could be considered as creative. In my perception, I would say that someone who is considered, no, pero ya nos considera acá, wait. Someone who is resourceful, comma, could be considered as creative. But in that case, the sentence is complete. My job is to transform it into a reduced sentence. Someone resourceful could be considered creative. Now you have to do the same with one of the other options. For the moment, just focus on one of the other options. Ready? You have 1 minute, analyze the complement and create a new start, a new introduction for that complement. Okay. Then we have here, for example, should work as engineer, como ingeniero, might be considered as a typical Colombian, requires to be very disciplined, it is very likely to be successful, very likely is like como muy posible, yes, and will always have opportunities of success. Entonces, depending of the second part, create a first part and reduce it, okay?
Someone with a lot of innovation should work as an engineer.
Very, very good. Someone with, so first it was Someone who has a lot of innovation, but she reduced it. So someone with a lot of innovation. Wait, sorry, wait to right here. Innovation should work as an engineer. Muy bien, very good. Here it's as an engineer. I'm sorry. Thank you, Danny. What about the other guys?
Someone determined is very likely to be successful.
Excellent. Which at the beginning was someone who is determined, but not just, it's not necessary. Someone determined is very likely to be successful. Perfecto, Chris. Brian?
Someone disciplined and organized will always have opportunities of successful.
Success, success. Not successful, but success. Okay. Disciplined and organized. Excellent, my friend. Both adjectives, no? So instead of saying someone who is disciplined and organized, not just someone disciplined and organized, that's it, not necessarily anything else, right? Guys, this is the clear example of the two different words. Successful is the adjective, success is the noun. So, for example, someone who is very successful, right? Or someone who has a lot of success. The two different forms of the same word. Yeah. Muy bien, guys. Entonces, in that case, it's clear that you can reduce a sentence. Está claro que pueden reducir una oración, right? Sencillo. Muy bien. Now, we're going to work continuing with the part of the creativity and the success and all of that. We're going to continue, but this time we're going to connect it. Yeah, we're going to complement it. Something similar to what we did in the previous exercise about I have problems waking up early. So this is something the same, but with the topic of creativity and all of that. Ready? I'm going to choose, for example, this one. Yes. I said a person who is a polyglot is considered to be smarter. Yeah. Or bueno, I can reduce it. A person or a polyglot. Yes, I can omit this part complete. A polyglot is considered to be smarter. Okay, very good. So, which, and then I have to introduce the complement. The complement is free. That's your job. Create the complement. Which suggests that languages are not easy. Languages, no sé qué, are not easy. For example, no, that's a possible complement. Which suggests, or which is why, blah, blah, blah. Or which results in more salary, for example. You know, guys, it's your turn. Choose one of the other options and create a complement for that sentence.
English is a matter of long-lasting practice, which is why it's a language kind of complex.
Mhm.
It's a kind of complex language.
Very good. So, which is why it's a kind of complex language. Excellent, bye. Very good, Chris. That's a really good explanation. Good. What about the others? Brian, Danny?
Teacher, people are not normally constant, which mean that they can complete your dreams.
Which means that, and be careful here, that they can't complete. Bueno, more than complete is fulfill, which is like cumplir, ready? Fulfill, pero no your dreams, sino their dreams. Estamos hablando de ellos, ready? Their dreams. Muy bien, Brian. So people are not normally constant, which means that they can't fulfill their dreams. Constancy is key in all of that process. Muy bien, Brian. Thank you. Danny?
A creative person is essential in every field, which result, results in motivation.
Good, yeah. Yeah, very good. Which results in motivation, which results in receiving more job offers, which results in compliments. There are many different reasons, no? Muy bien, guys. Excellent. So in that case, for the second time this week, we have learned how to connect sentences. I mean, I know that I am going to repeat this thing about connection all the level, but it's because there are many different ways, seriously, to connect ideas. Connecting in this case, in this week, about the verb that it's after that and reduce it or not reduce it, introduce an explanation, introduce a result, introduce a consequence, right? I can also, as I told you before, use other different verbs that are going to relate essentially feelings of the person with the first idea. For example, I consider myself as someone disciplined, which causes my mom a lot of pride. What is the meaning of pride? What is that word? Pride?
Orgullo.
Orgullo. Muy bien, very good. So in that case, the word causes. Ah, okay, that's one of the examples that were introducing an object. So in that case, the object is my mom. No, so I am considered blah blah blah. So which causes my mom. So there are different infinite ways to do it, guys. Do it by the time, do it by the relation, do it by the influence, do it. Connecting ideas, it's an endless job, right? Okay, guys. So we're going to finish today with a kind of different activity. Ready? So we already complete that part. Ya sé que ya lo pueden hacer, pueden conectar varias ideas, pueden introducir complementos. Yeah, that's it, right? So today we're going to go to an IA or an AI más bien. Yes, in Spanish is inteligencia artificial, in English is AI, which is artificial intelligence, of course, right? Now you can use whatever, Meta or ChatGPT or the one that you prefer. Doesn't matter. What you're going to do is to ask your artificial intelligence, ready? In English, of course. In English. That's the condition. Do it in English. To give you two different, well, you can choose one of the questions. Ready? Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you the question that you can choose. Bueno, one possibility is that you ask your AI, ready? Like, for example, hello, could you tell me some tips before going to bed in order to sleep better? Or possibly, could you please tell me some ideas right after waking up with the reduced clause, to have energy in the morning? Bueno, morning ahí le falta una Y. Entonces, let's make the first question. Yes, like, hello, could you please give me some tips to improve my sleeping habits? No, my sleeping routine. No, like, yes, my going to bed routine. Or yeah, let's say to improve my habits before going to bed with the reduced class, right? So let's see what the artificial intelligence is going to tell me, right? That's it. Yeah, so I'm going to read it just like a kind of scheme. Scheme, it's like a quick view, no? Entonces, okay, establish a consistent schedule. Okay, muy bien. Go to the bed, create a relaxing pre-sleeping routine. Limit the screen time. Okay, that's important. Watch your diet. Okay, that's super important. Create a comfortable sleeping environment. Okay, very good. So I'm going to take like a little view, like a little review, yes, of the habits, of the tips, pardon. Depending if you want to talk about before the bed or if you want to talk about as soon as you wake up. Got it? Then with all these ideas, you're going to try to create, like a general, how do you say that? Summary. What is the meaning of summary? Do you remember what is the meaning of summary? Summary? What is the meaning of summary? Any ideas? What is the meaning of summary?
Resumen?
Resumen, muy bien, thank you, Dani. Good. Entonces, with all the ideas that I asked to the artificial intelligence, I'm going to create my summary. Yeah. I said, okay, so right before going to bed, yes, it's important to limit your screen time. Yeah. Because people with a long exposition to screens are like Christian, right? Are affected, are affected. Yeah, that's it, no? So, claro, en vez de decir, right before you go to bed, it's important, not just right before going to bed, it's important to limit your screen time because people who has, not just people who with long exposition to screens are affected. Okay, good. I can also include, okay, then people, oh, sorry, people eating heavy, oh my God, people eating heavy late at night can also suffer problems, which means, or which suggests that you should control or change or adapt your diet. Yes, so that's it. That's my summary. Yes. So, guys, what I'm going to do, or what you're going to do, is to write down a small minimal paragraph, like 4 lines. Yes. But in that case, I want you to use everything. Connector, which for introducing one idea, reducing one clause, the one that you prefer with verb to be, with other verb. Yes. For example, here I reduce with verb to have, and also I reduce it with the verb eat. Yes. And also with time adverbs. Reduce or not, but with time adverbs. Yes? Guys, go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Ask the artificial intelligence that you want. If it's ChatGPT is fine. If it's this one, it's Copilot. Copilot is online, like only you just have to have a Outlook account. Solo tiene que tener una cuenta Outlook y ya es como la inteligencia artificial de Microsoft, right? So you can use that one, or you can use Meta in WhatsApp, or the one that you prefer, la que quieran. But the condition is to ask in English. Ready? That's the condition. Just guys, me avisan cuando estén listos, no worries. Entonces, escriban el párrafito chiquito y lo leemos al final. No se lo tienen que aprender, just lo leen así como lo escriban. Don't worry, relax. Si quieren lo pueden copiar en el chat para que lo leamos todos, no worries. Okay, so Brian already sent it to the chat. So he says, Brian, read it, please, my friend. Go ahead and read it.
Okay, teacher. If you want to start the day with the best energy before breakfast, you should hydrate immediately because people with bad hydration
Hy
can
hydration, hydration.
hydration can perform in their day, which means that they can lose opportunities and don't take out their potential.
Wonderful, very good. So you said if you want to start the day with energy, yes, before breakfast, you should hydrate immediately, right? Or before having breakfast. Both options are fine. Good, excellent. Because people with bad have bad hydration, yes, so it means people who has a bad hydration. Very good. Can perform in their day, which means then the introduction, right? Which means that they can lose opportunities and don't take out the potential. Muy bien, Brian. Thank you so much. Wonderful job. Ready? Hmm? What about Chris? What about Danny? Do you have it? What do you think? Almost there, not there.
After starting your goals, it's important create a routine because which means is a disciplined person. Also, people using time blocking could be successful.
Very good. Danny, could you please read it again so I can analyze it a little bit better?
After starting your goals, it is important create a routine because which means is a disciplined person. Also, people using time blocking could be successful.
The last part. Also, people.
Using
Uh-huh.
using
Yes.
time blocking could be successful.
Okay, very good. Perfect. So people using instead of the people who use, great. But be careful. When I say because, which means you have to choose one, or because, or which means, because it's basically the same ideas, the same purpose. They said, okay, before goals, or before having goals, it's important to make plans because or which means, pero una sola, ready? Which means it's a very disciplined person. ¿Listo? Muy bien, Danny. Thank you so much. Chris, help me to read your idea, Mike.
Drinking less water about 1 or 2 hours after sleeping. Avoid waking up in the middle of the night, which results in a better sleep. Also, people doing their skincare routine could rest better.
Very good. Well, there is something that I didn't understand. Drinking less water? Ah, okay, about 1 or 2 hours after sleeping. After or before sleeping? Because after sleeping, you cannot drink water.
Ay, es que siempre me
Before.
confundo. After debería ser antes.
Exactly, se suena más parecido. Es un error muy común, tranqui, Chris. Muy bien, good. So drinking less water about 1 or 2 hours before sleeping avoids waking up in the middle of the night. Perfecto. Which results in a better sleep. Also, people doing their skincare routine could rest better. Wonderful. Ready? Connectors, all fine, perfect there. Listo? Guys, this is muy bien. That's great. Now, you created a paragraph, right? Using these techniques. But we have many other techniques. So you can do it introducing connectors of contrast, introducing connectors of time, introducing conditionals, introducing different kinds of ideas, right? In this case, you can connect it all the ideas perfectly. Great. I am not even going to ask if you have questions because I know that you have no questions. But if you have problems, guys, whatever, just text me. Thank you for the attention. Thank you for staying late today. I'm sorry, big bad problems with the computer. I'm sorry. But that's it. Ready, guys? So thank you for being here on the week number 5. See you on the week number 6. The class is going to be, there is only going to be one class, and it's going to be on Thursday, if I'm not wrong. Ready? Thursday. So nothing. See you there. See you there. It's at 8 p.m. of course, as usual. So guys, if you have any questions, let me know in WhatsApp. And that's it. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Thank you for the attention. And see you in the next class.
Thank you, teacher. See you.
See you guys.
Bye, teacher. Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye
teacher.
bye. See you later.